Good morning everyone, how you all doing? Hope you're doing great. As you all know, we've been taking a parable a day at a time, just sharing some thoughts and some ideas and even practical tips on how we can apply it to our lives. So today we're going to be looking at the parable of the Good Samaritan. So if you've got your Bible, I'm just going to read from Luke 10 verse 30. It says, Jesus replied with a story. A Jewish man was travelling from Jerusalem down to Jericho and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him up and left him half dead beside the road. By chance, a priest came along, but when he saw the man lying there, he crossed to the other side of the road and passed him by. A temple assistant walked over and looked at him lying there, but also passed on the other side. Then a despised Samaritan came along, and when he saw the man, he felt compassion for him. Going over to him, the Samaritan smoothed his wounds with olive oil and wine, and then bandaged them. Put the man on his own donkey and took him to the local travel lodge, where he took care of him. The next day he handed the innkeeper 2 silver coins, telling him, "Take care of this man. If the bill runs higher than this, I'll pay you next time I'm here." Now which of these 3 would you say was a neighbour to the man who was attacked by the bandits? Jesus asked. The man replied, "The one who showed him mercy." Then Jesus said, "Now go and do the same." So the first thing that came to mind when I was thinking about kind of what this story meant is the first thing that came was the 2 guys. So obviously in that situation, they were walking along doing their day-to-day business. And they came across this guy who was lying on the floor. The guy was really in need. They could see that he was half dead and he needed help. And the first thing that came to their mind was they went over to him. And then they probably looked around and thought, you know what? This is not great. Like, they didn't know that the attackers weren't there still. For all they know, they could have been waiting, ready to rob the next person. And actually, they were scared of the consequences of what might come from helping that guy. So they just kind of looked and they decided that that was not good for them. They decided to put themselves first before helping the guy in need. And I'm just going to read a little definition of Samaritan. So the first one is a person who gives hope or sympathy to those in distress, or helpful and compassionate to those who are in distress. So obviously we know the story. The Samaritan came along. And actually, he did the opposite of them 2 guys. See, he probably thought in that moment that there was attackers looking out and waiting for the next person to attack. But in that moment, he decided to kind of stand up and not be scared, but actually go over to help the man in distress. And he didn't know what was going to happen. For all you know, they could have come and taken everything he had. But actually, he went above and beyond. So not only did he go over and help him and put oil on his wounds, he actually took the time to put him on his donkey, and then take him to the inn, and actually paid the silver coin. So he really did reflect the love of Jesus. Actually, he went out of his way, not just to help him, but to help him through the process of getting better too. So that is just the amazing part of the story, that actually the 3rd guy kind of reflected the love of Jesus and did what Jesus would tell us to do. So you might ask me, Ben, how can we take this story and put it in perspective? How can we take it and apply it into our busy day-to-day lives? So I've just got a thought I'd like to share, in that we can be one of 2 groups of people. We can either be like the priest and the temple assistant, or we can be like the Good Samaritan. When I take the priest and the temple assistant, the first thing that comes to mind is, have we got a friend or a family member or a relative or even a neighbour that actually might be that person that's on the ground? They might not be physically ground, but they might be emotionally and kind of mentally ground, and they need that friend to come over. But sometimes it's so easy just to walk over to that situation. Maybe take a work situation. We might see that they need help, but actually when we get into that situation, we analyse it. We look around and say, are we going to get attacked too? Is our faith going to get mocked? Or are we going to get kind of brought down? And actually that's the time when we can look around and we can be scared and run away and actually not help that person in need. And it's so easy to do because we feel attacked. Sometimes we feel like if we're going to help, it's just going to make things worse for us, so we don't do it. Or we can be a people like the Good Samaritan, in the fact that actually he looked around him. He realised that in any moment he could get attacked. Just like us, we might walk into a situation, we might know that people are going to mock us, people are going to attack us and laugh at our faith, or even just judge us. But actually putting that person first and knowing that their needs are above ours, and actually it doesn't matter what happens to us, that we're going to just trust that God is going to work for us, that if they need that help, that God's going to speak words to us, that actually we can take them and we can help them through it, and not just kind of help them up, but actually, like in the story, he helped him up and he carried on helping him. And he took him to that inn and says, if any more money needs to come into your accounts because of this guy, I'll pay you. So just like us, who can we go above and beyond for? Is there somebody at work who we can actually just say, look, we don't care about being mocked, we don't care about being embarrassed, but this person needs help. And actually, when we show the love of Jesus on them, I pray and believe that actually when we do that and we kind of help them and get to a place where they can be better, that Jesus will actually show them the way, that they can find their own personal relationship with him. So let's really just trust and actually try to be like the Good Samaritan, just actually look around and just not care about what people think and really just give it everything and just believe that that person is going to see better days when we help them. So after hearing all that, there's just a couple of things that we can do to put it into action. The first one is pray. When we're praying and we're really seeking God and spending time in his presence, let's just pray his spirit is going to speak to us, maybe giving us names or helping us to feel drawn close to people that might need to hear God's love, that actually we might need to be that Samaritan and that friend to help them out of that situation that they might be facing. But also that we're going to understand how to be that Samaritan, that actually we're going to use the strength and all the qualities that God has put in us, and we're going to have the courage to step out and not care what people think, but actually we're going to just do it and believe that God's going to change that situation. The second thing is that we're going to be able to be more open with our faith. See, when we share our faith with somebody, whether we send them a text or maybe a Facebook message, we never know. That might be God's perfect timing. It might be an answer to their prayers that actually the minute we text them is the minute that they get that breakthrough. So let's really just trust that when we text people and when we share our faith openly, actually that might be us helping that person and they need to hear that, what we've got to say. So thank you for watching.